Right? You can't cut a banana with a plastic spoon. So most of how we cut tissue is with metal knives, but the stents were made of metal. So what do you do when you have a question and you can't answer it? Who do you turn to? Students, right. So you tell a student, I need to cut these little metal mesh devices that we put in arteries. And so the student says, I come from Connecticut, and they build ships in Connecticut. And my dad's cousin works in the shipyard in Connecticut. So how about if I take these stents that were put in animals under special, very special protocols in my car on Sunday morning and drive down to Mystic, Connecticut and get the machinist, who's my friend's cousin's brother, to cut them. It's a great idea. So Campbell Rogers would drive down every Sunday with our precious specimens, and his friend's brother's cousin would cut these metal stents using tools which were designed for a ship. Had it not been for Campbell, we would never have figured out how to cut those devices.
And my question for you is, which do you prefer, teaching, practicing, or researching, and why?
Okay. So the answer, hopefully, is not a disappointment. It's being able to do all three, because all of us are multi-fluent and multidisciplinary and multi-talented, every single one of us. So the person who is a clinician scientist is not sometimes a clinician or sometimes a scientist. The person who's an education investigator is not sometimes an educator and sometimes an investigator, but at all times one thing. I actually believe that there's very little room in innovation for virtuosos, that you need to embrace multiple things simultaneously. Yeah, so that's a good question, Dave. So one of the questions is, could you release other things from stents, not just these drugs that negatively impact tissues, but positively impact them? And so we're using these right now to treat lesser diseases than heart diseases like cancer, to release potentially insulin right into the pancreas, to have cells inside. Yeah, it's really rich and wonderful area.
What was your personal drive that helped you throughout your research?
The joy of discovery and sharing that joy with other people who derive the same emotional just ecstasy from it. That was it. It was just, I love, and I still love being in the laboratory more than anything else. It's just, there's something wonderful about discovery. I love answering the questions, why and how. I know I sound, touchy-feely, but it's really extraordinary. There's nothing like discovering how something works. Something was created, and you discovered how that worked. That's yours forever. That becomes a part of your DNA and your soul. It's what drives me today. It's what drove me then.